If asked, what is the strongest armor in X's collection? Many will say it's the ultimate armor, but what is his weakest? Or rather, his worst? Well, I can tell you, it isn't his first armor. The defensive armor, Gaea, is often looked down on, so let's take a look at why that is in this Basics on the Gaea Armor. The ideas for the Gaea Armor are amazing, and it in and of itself is a boss killer. But it doesn't bring enough to the table, and thus feels like an incomplete armor, with minor pros and significant cons. There is a chance, though, that these cons are on purpose, given the history of the armor. For a brief moment in Mega Man X5, Dr. Light does inform X that the armor is an old prototype he created long, long ago. Given the history of the X series, there isn't a huge gap of time between X1 and X5, so we can safely assume that the Gaea armor predates even the first armor. One of the armor's cons is that it is heavy and lacks mobility, which could mean this armor was made before Light perfected the armor process, or even creating the dash function of the first armor, of which X inherited afterwards. In the end though, that's just speculation as to why it is the way it is. We know that during game development, Gaea armor was designed after the Falcon. Thus, it was not given any protruding parts, and instead was given a look of more white and black to differentiate it from the vivid colors of the armors before. The armor was made to look tough and heavy, which is likely why it has an industrial feel. Ability-wise, the armor has a bunch of buffs and nerfs, and according to the capsules, the helmet part does nothing. So, let's start off with what it does to help. The leg parts are most likely going to be the most appealing thing about this armor. They allow you to walk on spikes. I assume this feature also comes from the legs, but it can cling the walls without sliding. Why the heaviest armor can do this doesn't quite make sense. The best excuse I have is that the legs kind of indent the wall and somehow anchor X. That's a bit far-fetched in my opinion, but it's the best I got. The body decreases damage X takes, bringing that defense theme into play. While Light doesn't even talk about the armor's Giga Attack, I assume like the rest of the armors, it comes from the body. Here, X is able to expel energy in the form of a sphere, like a Kikosho from Street Fighter. The arms grant X a short-range buster. Normal shots are now the equivalent of a medium shot, and the charge shot is a massive green blast that can destroy enemy shots and certain terrain. Being as there is no medium shot technically on this armor, the buster charges immediately. The charge shots also deal high damage to bosses and cause low iframes, making it ideal in crushing bosses quickly. X can also move special blocks by dashing into them, and when he does a dash, a green burst field appears, which is what I guess allows him to move the blocks? I assume this is what the actual helmet does. So that's what the armor gives us, which, all that sounds fine, but, and yes, there's a big but there. The armor is heavy, and they make sure you feel that in the game. It's slower than any of X's forms, which makes getting through the first Zero stage nigh impossible. It also lacks air dashing, which really hurts its mobility. Its Giga Attack is very short range, and overall weak. To accompany that, the Buster seems to be relatively weak against the stage enemies, as it'll take several charge shots to take out right armor foes, while the Falcon armor can just toast them with ease. Speaking of short range, the Buster shots are so short, you might as well just be playing a Zero. You cannot equip parts on this armor. The biggest flaw that this armor has could have been solved with jumper and speedster parts. but they ensured you couldn't fix it. And lastly, the armor disables special weapons, which, this one, I can at least maybe see some lore logic to. It is old, and a prototype, so assuming that it predates the first armor, it could be before Light was able to make the variable weapon system work with upgrades. After all, Mega Man can't use special weapons in his adapter forms. And speaking of, the 2x5 armor's dynamic could even be a nod to Mega Man 6's power and jet adapters. Funny enough though, there is a palette in the game's code for each special weapon on the Gaea Armor. So these great ideas for an armor were just overruled by horribly negative side effects. When you consider the Falcon armor is in the same game, and it's dang near broken, it's a wonder why they did Gaea so dirty. Well, at least it has a redemption arc. Where X5 failed, X-Dive succeeded. While the Gaea armor retained its low speed in X-Dive, you can air dash now, and has the ability to increase its speed up to 2 times as fast for like a second. It's not much, but it's something. You can, however, equip it with means that will mitigate the slowness, so you can kinda fix that. Its Giga attack is massive now, and it really, really hurts. They did what the Giga should have always been. It also retained the spike immunity, and, likely due to how things are coded, it can now survive in lava and other stage hazards, such as crushers. While likely not intentional, this at least makes the armor feel more defensive and sturdy. Overall, the Gaea is an unfortunate, underwhelming armor that you just get too late in X5 to truly enjoy, unless you're revisiting the stages. And even then, the nerves it has weighs it down. If only that green dash field it has activated when you jumped and let you damage enemies, like the X8 Icarus armor. Oh well though, what are your thoughts on the armor? Is there something you think could have saved it from being the least liked armor? Let me know in the comments below.